Here we go. There we go. There we go. Here we go. Say hey, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Ian Cameron, not feeling well this morning. He might be joining us, but shout out to Ian. He's not feeling too good this morning. Sent me a message here. So hope he's feeling better. If he doesn't make it into the show, that's okay, but not feeling great. So hopefully send your positive vibes and healing vibes over there to Ian Cameron because he's not feeling the best right now. But we roll on anyways. Say Hey Plays officially here and ready to go. Saturday card that involves. I'll be honest, guys. I think that this might be one of like the worst I guess matchups weekends in the year so far. Just not a lot of matchups that are really just intriguing, tasty on the palate, all those adjectives and verbs and whatnot to describe these games. But I just really will be interested to see if we can find action on these games or not because I just don't think the matchups are all that great. Obviously, we've got two with the Houston Astros and Yankees series that have been that series has been great. We cashed yesterday on the Verlander full game money line with the Astros there. I mentioned Verlander was the only time he's been an underdog was 2017 in the regular season, and that was crazy. So you had to take a shot there after such a brutal loss, and thankfully the pitching held up for us, so that was great. But I think it's going to be an interesting card, and obviously the Brewers game as well. Brewers Blue Jays. They are. I mean, I don't know. I would say let's check the scores before I start calling it a good series because on paper it is. It is supposed to be good, but obviously, you guys know how I feel about the Brewers, and I think the Blue Jays have struggled in the last couple of weeks, and I think the Red Sox are better than the Blue Jays now, which is kind of funny. But saying that at the beginning of the year would have been crazy. A 9-4 win with Manoah on the bump is not surprising at all. So I'm excited to see that series unfold here. Game two of it will be fun. But let's officially get underway here because it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I want to talk about this first game because it made us money last night. But let's get into it. Say Hey Plays 80. Say Hey Plays 80 officially underway here. And we started off with the Yankees game here. Yankees Astros game three. Believe it is already. It's just pretty crazy to say. They're going 4 games, which will be fun. Let's see. Sunday, they probably are going 4 games if they started it. Yep. Going to be fun. But yeah, so we've got Christian Javier, Garrett Cole here. Obviously, we've got Garrett Cole facing his old team. We got all those subplots. He's been preaching really well, Mr. Kermit Cole at Tampa Bay last time out. He went back to back against Tampa Bay, a team that notoriously he kind of struggles against. 7 innings, 1 hit ball last time out, 1 earned run, 12 Ks, 3 walks at the Trop too. Phenomenal there. Versus Tampa Bay at home. Before that, 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned run, 7 Ks, 1 walk as well there. I'll tell you right now, I'm a little worried to go against Garrett Cole here. I'll be honest. And you guys know me. I love fading him and all these, all those numbers. It's great, but it's interesting to see that Christian Javier is a plus 140 here, and obviously since it's just us capping these cards today, guys. Let me know what you guys are on. We're going to be very interactive today, so we would appreciate that. But definitely, I think it's going to be interesting for Christian Javier, who I think is a good pitcher, and I worry about this number being so high, and I think it's an indication of how he's going to pitch. Javier, last 2 appearances versus the White Sox, 5 innings, 2 hit ball, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, 4 walks. A little worrisome on the walks there, obviously. And then at the Rangers, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks, 3 walks as well. So very interesting to see here. And I will pull up Javier's fan graphs here while we speak about this because I'm seeing you guys mentioning that he gives up some runs on the road. So let's talk about his home road splits real quick. Yeah, let me tell you, they are drastic. At home, a 32 and one third innings pitch, 1.95 ERA, 23 innings pitched on the road. He's got a 4.63 on the road. That is tough right there. I'm not gonna. I don't think I can move on the Astros here. Obviously, I think I would obviously lean towards an over if I think both pitchers could get touched up a little bit. What's up, Nasty Nate? Thanks for watching as well. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Nasty Nate. Thank you for pointing that out. Craig Wood says here, Houston first five plus a half, even money there. Houston career 202 batting average versus Cole. Rant saying under would be a sweat unless Cole is unreal. Fireside said Javier haven't hit Christian, or no, sorry. The Yankees have not hit Javier well. This is going to be a challenge for my dyslexia today, guys. And a Stellar Girl saying only play here is the home runs over 1.5. I like that, obviously. Shout out to Deacon Mike as well, wherever he might be trying to bet those. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see here. That's hilarious. Bruce Hayward saying he's on the Yankees and he feels like Cole will show up. Interesting. Interesting here. Note. I think, honestly, I'm getting closer and closer to moving towards the over 8. If we're going to be honest, guys. Especially after that low scoring game yesterday. 3-1 final, I believe it ended up being. Yankees are first against righties this month, 146 weighted runs created plus, while the Astros are 137. That's third right there with him. And let's see. Let's check Baseball Savant to see how the batter versus pitcher numbers are versus Cole. Obviously, we mentioned 202 average against. You've got Michael Brantley's 2 for 15, Martin Maldonado's 3 for 10. So sure, why not? Altuve's 2 for 8, Alvarez 2 for 7, Bregman's 1 for 7. No damage though. Alvarez is the only person that has done damage to him. 2 home runs on him in those 2 hits. So, Kyle Tucker 0 for 5 too. I think I'm going to move on the over. I think I'm going to move on this over, guys. Over 8. I understand that the bullpen for both these squads can be capable, can be extremely capable, but I'm moving on the over 8, especially in New York. I think Cole can get touched up here, and it will be a fun game for sure. Let me know what you guys think about that. I remember Rant saying the under would be a sweat unless Cole is unreal. I don't think he's going to be unreal. I think he'll be good. Obviously, maybe 6 innings, 7 innings, like 2 runs, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised like that. But I think we can get over here, especially if Christian Javier does give up some runs as well. And by the way, Jake Burns saying if Cole shows up in confident the Yankees will win this game. Yankees will hit Javier. So, all right. All right, that's a good way to start the card. That's a good way to start the card. I didn't expect to quickly make my overs here or quickly make moves here, but here we are, moving it on. All right, so let's move on to game 2 here. Obviously, you guys know me, the Pittsburgh Pirates Tampa Bay Rays game up here, and let's just let's flash the graphic. Let's flash the graphic, guys, because they did it again. I got the 2.5 yesterday, and I got the 3, so they lost 4-3. So it wasn't like as successful and as exciting as it has been, but they're still winning or they're still scoring, and I got the push, which was great. But I still believe in the Pittsburgh Pirates here. I have not looked at their team total yet today, honestly, which I like doing on the show. I like doing everything on the show for the honest reactions and seeing everything live with the fans and everything is always great with the pubby heads, whatever we're calling the people that watch the show, the say hayers. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move on it again. I mean, I've got to. It's 3, guys. Over 3 at -105 officially again for me on the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's crazy. That's crazy that they keep doing this. I mean, I guess it's not really crazy because they scored 3 last time, and Corey Kluber is obviously a capable pitcher. Um, he could do his old man shit and tie a young lineup in knots. He went at Baltimore last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a home run, 6 Ks, 1 walk, which I think would be interesting as well. But I think he can easily get touched. Yeah. And I'm looking at the chat now as well. SVJ man moving. Sorry, let's say Manning moving. Raise it, team total over 3. I like it here. O'Neal Cruz is leading off now. I saw that. I made sure to look and see if he was playing today because I obviously, if he's not in the lineup, I'm not going to be playing the team total. He has to be in the lineup. But yeah, so I like that. Robert Franklin got the 2.5 minus 140. I mean, I like the 2.5. Obviously, minus 140 is kind of shitty odds. But I cashed with it yesterday, better odds than what I would have gotten. But a 2.5 was pretty good, and it obviously hit. So I definitely like the 2.5, and maybe maybe you can get you parlay it out with other things if you don't like just betting that individually. THC is Rizzo liking the team total, and Wallaby King saying he raised it last night, tailed that team total over 2.5. So I'm glad you guys did, man. It's pretty crazy. It's really crazy to see that these Pirates, if you just step back and just think about it for a second, that the Pittsburgh Pirates have just been a money wagon for us this whole year. Just ridiculous to say. And like I said, I O'Neal Cruz, NL Rookie of the Year, plus 500. I bet it 2 days ago now. Mackenzie Gore's outing last night really hurt me because he's the leader. He's the leader in the clubhouse right now, and Nolan Gorman is second according to the odds. But we will see. It's a long season. Maybe they, as we feared with Joe Ryan, who unfortunately is losing pace in the AL Rookie of the Year races. Maybe they have to innings limit him, and we'll see less of him. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see for sure. Glad everyone's on that team total. Raymond Reichart likes the team total. Shout out to AOD for joining us. Thanks, my man, for watching. And Ronnie Ambergia saying only a capper would know the value, the pirate value. So yeah, man, the booty is plentiful with the Pirates, guys. You can go get your booty, your treasures, all with the Pirates. If they continue this streak, I might have to dress up like a pirate on the show. I'm just gonna let you guys know now. If it's I don't know how many days in a row it's been now of betting the Pirates, and I think I've only lost one of them, one team total, which is crazy. And I don't even remember it, honestly. I can go back to the records and look later. But it's been a crazy run with the Pirates, and obviously the sweep just contributed to it. So I will mention we have not talked about JT Brubaker and all this. If you are looking to back the Pirates side as a whole, you guys know that I'm not doing that recently because their pitching can be horrific. JT, his last time out versus the Cubs was solid. 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 3 walks. And at St. Louis, he had another pretty good start, I would say. 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 5 Ks, 2 walks, 1 home run there. So he's been pitching well, but I'll be honest, I think he's not a good enough pitcher for me to expect him to, continue this run of good form. I feel like as people say, the shoe is going to drop eventually. And I wouldn't, ultimately be surprised if the Rays got to him here. Obviously, the main concern for me for betting these team totals is the Pirates going down early and just kind of giving up. But luckily they did not do that against the Cubs the other day when they were down 14-1 in the ninth inning. They come back and score 5 and cash that team total over 4.5, I believe it was, which was electric. That was obviously the best casher of this whole journey, besides the money lines, of course. But Rays against righties this month, 78 weighted runs created plus. That's 27th. Only 3 teams are worse than them. Obviously, it's the Tigers, the Diamondbacks, and the A's. That's not company you want to be in against righties. So I could see a first 5 under here too, but it's probably a 3.5. I would assume. I don't think it's a 4. Let's pull it up here real fast. Oh, it is a 4. It's the juice for at minus 120. So yeah, a first 5 under wouldn't be that bad. And obviously, if you watched the Pirates game yesterday, all their runs came off solo shots. So it wasn't like they were stringing together hits. So I wouldn't hate that, but I want the Pirates team total over 3. You guys know me. You guys know me. It's hard to do a raise it by yourself because I don't have as much energy and there's just more talking. But we might get one at the end. We might get one at the end. Next game on our slate, let's talk Baltimore Orioles versus the Chicago White Sox here. Now, I'm very interested to see what Lance Lynn does in this start because we talked about Lance Lynn last time, and I said kind of brazenly, obviously, because he was facing the Blue Jays, and it's kind of tough. I should say kind of tough. It's extremely tough to hold down the Blue Jays. And I kind of said, if Lance Lynn's not doing it, if he's not pitching well against this squad, then it might be time to cut bait with betting on my man Lance Lynn. And he had a worse start than he did at Detroit, which I guess logically makes sense against a better team. But I don't know what to expect from him. And in reality, I don't want to, keep just repeating myself every time he comes on the mound and keep giving him chances. But in reality, this is kind of his last chance. This is his last chance here. If he doesn't pitch well here, then I'm probably not going to want to back him in any other start this year. Last time he went out there, 5 runs in 5 innings. 3 of them earned, 4 hits, 5 Ks, 2 walks versus Toronto. So, and that was at home as well. And we'll see. We'll see here. And Spencer Watkins gets the call up from AAA. If you guys remember his last MLB outing, he went no outs recorded against the Tampa Bay Rays and just got shelled. Immediately sent down. And they were like, you know what? Just go work on your shit in AAA. And then, his he had 3 outings in AAA. First one went okay. His second outing, he got kind of rocked. 3 2/3, 4 hits, 5 runs, and 3 of them earned. And then, they decided only 1 inning. So I think it'll be interesting to see, I guess, what they do with him. I think he'll get the full lengthy start here, but maybe they try to make him into a bullpen arm eventually. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I kind of expect him to get rocked here. So fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes for this game. I'm not going to move on it officially. I'm going to double check the lines here real quick. Let's see. We've got a White Sox team total, perhaps. If you fancy that, you can get a 5.5 plus 110 sucks. 5 minus 120. If you think Lance Lynn sucks, 3.5 for the Orioles at minus 125 seems pretty okay, but Orioles against righties this month are 19th, 93 weighted runs greater plus, and it's truly against lefties when you want to bet them, I believe. So, yeah, just a pass game for me ultimately. But I did just look backstage, and I did just realize who we have with us. He was probably a beast last night on the horse show on Cash It Fridays, which actually, hold on, let's take this down real quick. Which actually, of course, I'm wearing my Cash It Friday shirt right now. Go get that on the Pub Sports Radio website, pubsportsradio.com. 25% off the entire website right now. But he's back from the dead. I'm glad he's feeling good enough to come on. This might be his Jordan flu game, even though we saw that in San Antonio too. It's Ian Cameron. Ian, I'm glad you're alive.
I'm glad you referenced San Antonio because you're right. That was me playing through some pain there as well with the voice, with the what we thought might have been COVID, which turned out not to be. So just all kinds of shit was going on there. But then, the voice was shot, as you know, for the last, 3 or 4 days of that, which killed second night of karaoke for me down there at Southtown 101. I had a second night planned. The first night was just such a huge success, a smashing hit, but we just couldn't get there with the second night because the voice wouldn't cooperate. But yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit today, a little under the weather, which is very rare for me. I don't get sick very often. Sick days are usually not in my vocabulary. Anyone that knows me knows that. How many shows do I miss in the course of a year? Not many. And if I had missed this one, this would have been a very rare show that I have missed due to either emergency or illness or whatever. But you know what? It's just stomach's been bothering me. It still is. But we took a couple pills. We're feeling a little bit better. I think at the Razor show it did this. No, I'm kidding. Of course it didn't. I enjoyed myself on Razor show last night. It was lots of fun. It wasn't drinking. It was nothing like that. I've had a million drinking nights before, and I felt fine the next morning. So it's not that. I think it's heat. This is about as hot as it's been here in years today.
Really?
I think that's part of it. Yep. It's like with the humidity factored in, we're pushing 100 Fahrenheit today. With the humidity factored in. that's part of it. I haven't slept much, and I haven't had a good sleeping pattern or cycle since September. That's like 9 months of not getting a whole shit ton of sleep either. And I think that when the weather gets warm like this and you haven't been sleeping much or well, that piles onto you as well. It makes you feel sometimes like this today. But we're going to power through it, Jose. We still wanted to break down the card, and here we are.
Well, I'm glad that you're going to do that. I'm very proud of you to call you a teammate here. This is how Scottie Pippen felt when he just watched Jordan drag his lifeless body. This is how Tony Kukoc. I don't know if he was on that team. This is how he felt when he was watching them do it. And I'm glad that you're with us, Ian. We already went through the first a couple games: Astros, Yankees, Pirates, Rays, and Baltimore Orioles, White Sox. Did you have anything on those real quick?
Well, definitely the Astros and the Yankees. I am very much interested in the over there, even though last night
Ah,
finally stayed under, just because of the
I'm
fact.
on over too.
Yeah, it's because of the two lineups. They've been in terrific form. We go from, absolute aces, in my opinion, or close to it with Verlander and Severino last night. We go to Javier on the Houston side, who's a little bit erratic. And Cole's problem's the home run ball, and Houston's been hitting a lot of home runs lately. I know it's not easy to go over the total in a Garrett Cole start, but an early start there, I do lean that way. I don't have much on the Cubs and the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals, that's what the Cardinals can do sometimes. They have those games every now and then where, you get shut out by Kyle Hendricks, who's had like terrible going into that game last night. How does that happen? But they should bounce back, but I'm not laying a $1.90 with Michaelis, and although he's been good and he's dominated the Cubs in his career. But definitely, I don't want any. I don't want to bet against St. Louis, but I don't love that price with them, so I'm off that game. The chat's onto it with the Orioles game, where I do lean over there as well. I mean, Lynn hasn't looked right since he's been back from the IL. I don't trust Watkins, but you could also say you don't trust this freaking lineups right now for either of these teams. And then the White Sox, how do you get completely stone cold shut down? The last two games by Austin Voth and the relieving All-Stars of the Baltimore Orioles last night, and Cosmo Kramer, a.k.a. Dean Kramer, the night before. How does that happen if you're the White Sox? I mean, this lineup's just completely a mess right now. You can't even trust them against bad pitching anymore at this moment. So, yeah, I kind of want to look over, but then you factor in also the rain possibility in Chicago on the south side today. So I might leave that one alone. And there was another early game, I think. There was a fourth one. I know. Oh, yeah, Pittsburgh and Tampa. I'm going back to the over here with Brubaker and Kluber. I mean, very, very tough push for anyone that had the over last night, including me. I mean, it was 3-3, by the fifth inning, and we only get the extra inning run from Tampa in the 10th, and that's disappointing. You expect to go over at 3-3 in the fifth, but didn't
Yeah, I
happen.
thought I was getting it from the Pirates too. I thought I was going to get one more run from the Pirates. I had the team total 2.5 and 3, and I was like, all right, well, they'll just get it in on OT and extras, but no.
So that is the one. That's the one I will for sure make official of the early slate. It's Pirates and Rays over 7, and I still think this Pittsburgh lineup is much improved since they got the two young kids called up, and you're seeing it really filter throughout the lineup. They're taking better at bats. I think Kluber's due for some regression as well, and I think the longer the season goes, Kluber's going to struggle more and more and more, and the innings pile up on an older arm that's had a lot of work and surgery done to it and all this shit. So I think definitely when you look at it, I'll come back to the well with the. I didn't lose maybe if I lost last night, I'm a little bit shying away from it, but it's 7 again. I don't know if necessarily we have better pitching on either side than we saw last night. Springs is very good for Tampa. Helen Keller gutted through the game, even though he wasn't great. I don't think Brubaker's on par. I don't know if he's nearly as good. And certainly I don't think Kluber is as good as Springs. So I'll go back to the over there.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I was the cap for me was Spencer Watkins, can't trust him, and I kind of expect him. I'm kind of thinking he gets fed to the Wolves here. I think he gets rocked, and then I don't know if I can trust Lance Lynn. You're right, so I agree with you. I'm actually tweeting right now and telling everyone that you're alive, eating
That's
Ian.
good.
So
Appreciate that. Some people might have thought I was dying, so that's good. Got to make sure we quell the fears.
yeah, I mean, I yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying here. He's live with me, Ryan, for Say Hey Play 80. By the way, yes, it is Say Hey Play 80, and it's very another
Yeah,
illustrious number that you're on. I
milestone
seem
number. How could I miss it? How could I just crawl back into bed with the stomach issue and just call it a day?
Oh man, it always seems like you're on the round numbers too, which is funny. I don't know how that happens, but I love it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's move on officially. Ian, thank you for all those quick plays here. Let's move on to one of the baseball's best rivalries: Cubs versus the Cardinals. Here, Adrian Sampson. No, not the center for the UVA Cavaliers. It is the pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. His first game started this year. He went 4 and 2/3 innings last time out versus the Atlanta Braves. One hit ball, no earned runs, 5 Ks, no walks. Truthfully, I don't expect him to do that again. I really don't. I'm kind of expecting the sticks to come out here for the Cardinals and do their job. Let's see against righties this month because yes, Adrian Sampson is a righty. They're 11th, 113 weighted runs created plus. So I don't hate that at all as well. So I'm definitely going to look towards a team total look for me here. Ian, what do you have on this one?
This one, you know what I said just a minute ago because I didn't realize you hadn't gotten to this game yet, so I had talked about it already. But
Oh, did you? I didn't even notice. See, I was doing
yeah,
other things. I was
it was
tweeting out to making sure you were alive.
yeah,
But
exactly. No, I said St. Louis. I was on the over. Yes, I mean I can't believe they got shut out by. Actually, I can believe it because it's baseball. Things like that are going to happen from time to time. But Hendricks completely stymied this Cardinals line. I actually think it's a bet on spot for St. Louis. I really do. I mean, they're not going to take kindly to being shut out like that. There's no question about that. They're a better lineup than that. I can't explain what happened last night. That was a struggling Kyle Hendricks that looks like he's on the decline, and he just mystifies the Cardinals for 8 innings, essentially. But, you've still got a lineup that's got certainly a lot of pop in it when everyone's feeling it. Nolan Gorman has been terrific since he was called up, brought into this lineup. Goldschmidt, Arenado, Brendan Donovan's been a capable hitter. They are without Tyler O'Neill. That's a concern. It's some power that's gone, but my fellow Canadian as well. Want to throw that in there, but definitely St. Louis. That's the only thing we have in common. We don't have physique in common. We
are you
just have our
sure?
nationality in common. Pretty sure of that. Yeah. But yeah, I think St. Louis is in a good bounce back spot here. I certainly don't want anything to do with Adrian Sampson. This is a guy that's being called up. He was with Texas, we remember, for a few years there, and it was always usually more of a bet against pitcher for me when he was there. But I don't know if the Cubs are going to score a ton against. Michaelis has completely dominated the Cubs. I mean, just terrific numbers against them. He's obviously having a very good year. Part of me thinks Michaelis is going to have a regression period at some point. He's not going to be able to sustain this for the whole year. But I think today against the Cubs, after being shut out last night, he'll go out there, he'll pitch a good game. I think St. Louis could score, but I think if I were to bet this game, rather than I don't want minus 190. I'd probably go team total route. Team total over 4.5 minus one. I think 40 is what we're looking at here for the Cardinals. I think that might be something I put a small bet on. I mean, nothing significant for me in this game, but I just feel the team total is a little bit more of a value-laden option because I think if St. Louis wins this game, they're probably going to score at least 5 runs. Cubs still have a bad bullpen that's over 7 ERA in the last 10 games. Even though they shut out the Cardinals last night. So you got a weak starter. You've got a bullpen that hasn't pitched well in the last 10 games. So I think that team total might be worth a bet there. St. Louis over, actually at Pinnacle, it's minus 130. So St. Louis over 4.5.
How do you feel about St. Louis first 5 minus 1? We get the minus a halves all the time, but minus 1 is at even money right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best value. Minus a half is still a little bit pricey here because if you're going to go minus a half in this game, it's minus 135 now across the board. So you're not even getting a great price with the minus a half a run. So I think if you like St. Louis in the first 5, I think minus 1's your best, most value if you're going to go that route.
All right, I love it. By the way, I can hear the birds chirping. It's lovely, and I love the aesthetics we've got going here. I feel like we're just like here to cap. The sun is shining. Everything's just going on our way. We've got winning days here. Ian, I love the aesthetics. Love it.
I
All
know there
right.
are birds chirping outside my window. You must be hearing them.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's lovely.
Fantastic. All right.
It gets the ambiance. It really just ups the ambiance, and I love it. The birds will be chirping for this game because this is a bum fight, like we've been mentioning, of utter the proportions. There's a lot of games this series or this weekend that are just scream bum fight. And like I said, it's one of the worst matchup series in a while. But we've got Nationals Rangers here. Josiah Gray, who has I don't know, man. He's been up and down to say the least. And Matt Bush, the Bushman, I don't love him either. But let's talk about Gray first, who's been on he's been on one of his heaters recently this month. Last time out versus the Phillies, 6 innings, one hit ball, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks. And before that, at Miami, 5 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs again, 6 Ks and 1 walk. What's funny, Ian? His monthly ERAs right now, May of 5.74, March, April of 4.05, and June 0.53 ERA. Just very, very impressive
Yes.
for Josiah Gray. And I think I'm going to back him here, Ian, because another
Hey,
main.
the Washington Nationals wanted this guy in the Scherzer deal.
Oh
So he's
yeah,
got to have some kind of talent. I mean, everyone's we've been waiting for it. We know he's been not what we thought, and he's taken a while, and he's had consistency problems, and he's actually probably been more bad than good. But we thought at some point, we're going to start to see what the Nationals saw in him when they traded for him, and now maybe we're starting to see it.
I'm going to back him here officially. I don't know how. I think it might be first five, maybe full game. I don't know if I trust the Nationals bullpen all that much, obviously. But away, 33 and a third innings pitched, 1.89 ERA. Incredible. 35 innings pitched at home. He's got a 5.91 ERA. So that just, maybe it's just a Nationals park thing. I don't know. But I'll be taking the Nationals here in some form or fashion. Let's find out how I'll do that. Ian, while I'm doing that, are you officially moving on this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to it was kind of let's be honest, it was more bad than good with Jimmy yesterday with the baseball plays for me yesterday. But we got a couple. We got the Jays' first five in full game swept, which was nice. We had and one of them that got the job done for me was this Washington team. We took Washington at a first five and a full game money line, and we pushed the first five. We won the full game with Washington. Believe it or not, their bullpen got it done last night. I'm shocked by that, but they did. Hanging on and preserving a 2-1 win last night. So a nice plus price winner there with Washington. I'm going back to them here as well. I like what I'm seeing with Josiah Gray. It'll be first five full game split once again, just like last night. He has been very good lately, and now we're starting to see the flashes of what people thought he had. When the Dodgers had him, and now of course Washington after they traded for him. He's given up just 3 runs in his last it looks like 22 innings. I mean, it's been a very, very impressive stretch. 3 runs allowed in 22 innings. Actually, only 2 earned runs in that time. One of the runs was unearned. So Josiah Gray's been absolutely terrific. His road numbers are spectacular. 1.89 ERA. He's actually been better on the road. 5-1. The Nationals have a terrible record this year, obviously. They're 21 games below 500. They have 26 wins. Josiah Gray starts are responsible for 7 of those 26 wins, including 5-1 on the road for the Nationals in Josiah Gray's 6 road starts. So he looks like he's a bet-on pitcher right now all the way. Matt Bush is what he is. He's a reliever that's, just going to be an opener essentially here. Probably only go an inning, maybe 2 at the most, kind of like the last start he had against the White Sox. Then you're going to see a bunch of relievers after that. Now, Texas has had a surprisingly good bullpen this year, actually, 3.54 for the season, the bullpen ERA. But still, you're going to trot out a bunch of relievers for the full game against a starter that's got great upside, has great stuff, and now maybe starting to realize that, Josiah Gray. And look, Texas ain't hitting a lick right now either. Let's factor that into this equation. You look at Texas here this week, 3 against Detroit. They had 4 against Philly. They had 1 last night. They haven't exactly been hitting it other than the 7-run outburst they had against Kyle Gibson, who I think they had some familiarity with because of his days in Texas. So, other than that, Texas hasn't been hitting a lot lately. I'd lean to the under too. first 5 full game. This would be under first 5 full game lean, but definitely will be on Washington first 5 full game.
Yeah, I'm on Washington first 5 money line minus 110. Personally, oh, there's a dust on my arm. I thought I had a bug on me for a second. About to see me freak out. But yeah, I'm on Nationals first 5 money line minus 110. I think I've got the better pitchers, I guess I should say, against the Rangers bullpen. And I should bring up, maybe it doesn't matter as much since it's the bullpen day, and maybe they'll go righty lefty, who knows? But Nationals against righties right now, 22nd against them, 89 weighted runs created plus. Against lefties this month, they are 13th, 121 weighted runs created plus. So I think we're going to see a parade of righties, I would assume, for them. So it's going to be interesting. I'll take them first 5 money line, hoping Josiah Gray does his thing. Robert Franken also leaning first 5 under 4.5. I like that look too. Like you just mentioned. But Nationals for me. Let's get some runs here. Nationales. Next game on our slate, a very good one. One of the rare good matchups we got today. It happens to be a division game, obviously, in the NL Beast. But it always seems to be a good matchup when these NL East teams face off, at least. Bassett and the Mets versus the Marlins and Trevor Rogers. And Trevor Rogers has been the guy that I have not been able to just get a hold of, I guess to say. And I feel like it's a common thing in the capping community we're in to argue about Trevor Rogers and how good he is. Nolan and Sharpie obviously talk about it all the time. Last time out, he faced the Mets, which does not seem like a good sign for me personally. A back-to-back is never, ideal. At the Mets, 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, only 3 of them earned, 7 Ks, 2 walks, no home runs given up. So a little plus sign there. At the Phillies, the time before that, he goes 3 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, a home run there, 2 Ks, 6 walks. So he obviously improved on the walks from that 6 walk performance to only 2 in his last time against the Mets. But again, I don't like back-to-backs. I don't like back-to-backs when I'm trying to back a pitcher, obviously. When I'm thinking, let's fade him, I obviously will talk myself into it. Let's talk about Bassett real quick. His last start, obviously, was against the Miami Marlins as well at home. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 9 Ks, 2 walks there. Could see it over here easily. A 7.5 is a low number. And maybe even look towards a Mets team total. Because I've told you guys, I really cannot get this Trevor Rogers situation under control. Mets against lefties this month, they're 19th, 103 weighted runs created plus. So you can understand, I guess, why that total would be a little lower. But I still like the Mets team total here. Let's find out what it is. Bobano, while I do that, what do you have on this one?
So the question becomes, what do you value more? Do you value more the Mets Mets are a bottom half of MLB against lefties team. They are. I mean, they've not exactly, it's the righties they've been mashing. The lefties, it's been, 18th is what I've got them at in team OPS against lefties this year. So hasn't been great. But what do you value more, those overall numbers or how they did against a specific lefty? Because if you look at how they did against Rogers, just 5 days ago, they faced him. They scored 4 runs, 5 hits in 5 innings. They did pretty well, if you ask me. So, but this is a turnaround. This is one of those turnaround games. And these are always tricky when you have the same 2 teams facing each other back-to-back weekends like this. Both of these guys struggled. It was 6-2. It went over the total, 6.5. I'm with you. I'd lean over here. But the Mets aren't quite as good against lefties. They did hit Rogers well. They had actually struggled against Rogers last year. He shut them down completely. 1 run in 11 innings. Now, this is a different Mets team completely. And then last week, it was a different story. The Mets had their success against Rogers. Bassett, on the other hand, 3 runs, 5 hits, 6.1 innings against the Marlins in his last start. His road ERA, this guy's got a little bit of a home road thing going on.
Oh, yeah. I just checked it out. I've just checked out Trevor Rogers. It's hilarious. Go ahead. I'm sorry. But, oh, my God.
Yeah, 5.46 ERA on the road for Bassett, which isn't great by any stretch. His road starts are averaging 10.3 runs per game this year, by the way. Rogers' home starts, and by the way, Rogers' home ERA is dreadful. I mean, usually for these Marlins pitchers, it's a paradise there at Marlins Park. Not for this guy this year. 8.85 ERA. His home starts have gone 5-0 to the over and averaging 10.6 runs per game. So has to be over or pass for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. That is
I haven't
crazy.
made up my mind yet, but it would be over or nothing.
That is really crazy to look at. 8 ERA at home this year. Wow, a 4.23 on the road for Rogers. Yeah, I was looking at the team totals as well. I honestly think I'm leaning towards just the over because 4.5 is plus 110. 4 is minus 120. I think I'd just rather have the over and root for both teams here. So I'm also going to write down the over, Ian, as well. I'm not
3
going
of the
to.
last 4 starts, Bassett has not been sharp. Like, he's not been great. He gave up 4 runs to the Dodgers in 6 innings, 7 runs to the Padres in 3.1. He got crushed in that game. He was dominant against the Brewers. That was a great start. 8 innings shutout ball, and then he back to struggling again a little bit last start. So it's not been terrific lately for Bassett.
Yeah, and I don't hate people taking Mets money line. Obviously, you guys will eat that juice, and I'm not willing to eat that juice. But I don't mean I think the Mets do win tonight. I think they're just a better team at the end of the day
See,
as well.
someone asking what happened to Rogers. I'm not even totally shocked by this. Like, he was always 4th or 5th on the Marlins food chain with their starting rotation behind Sandy, behind Pablo Lopez, behind some of these other pitchers they've got. He was never. I never looked at him as on the same level as Alcantara. I never looked at him as on the same level as Pablo Lopez or some of their other starters. But I also didn't totally expect this fall from grace like this either. But if there was one Marlins pitcher, I would say, yeah, maybe I could see him falling off. And if there was one pitcher I could pick to say, hey, maybe he's not going to be cracked up to what he's been so far, it would probably be this guy.
You know, this is going to be a little blasphemy to say, but there's not many Marlins fans, so I don't have to worry about this. Trevor Rogers could be an excellent trade chip for them. They have so many young pitchers in their farm system. Max Myers, who apparently is going to be a stud of studs, is just kind of waiting in the wings there. Sixto Sanchez, who everyone has forgotten about, and
Yep.
he was incredible when he was in the majors. Who knows what the fuck his deal is, but I have not heard his name in a while. If the Marlins are like, you know what, we've seen all we can get from Rogers, we've tried fixing him, it's not working, all that good stuff. If they traded him, I guarantee you they would get some good value back because young lefty. I'm sure a lot of teams would love to sink their teeth into Rogers. So would love to see that at least, but I don't think he gets traded realistically. I think they would ride it out. Let's see. All right, so let's move on to the next game on our slate
That's an
here. We've got
excellent point by Puzzler. Yeah. I mean, the last 3 road starts, ghastly for Bassett. That's true. 8 to the Giants, 7 to the Padres, 4 to the Dodgers. Yeah. I mean, that's the road ERA for Bassett's definitely taken a hit with those last 3 road starts.
By the way, we do have a Marlins fan in here, and it is G Jenkins. Don't worry, Jose. I'm the only Marlins fan in here, and you're right. Rogers could be dealt, no problem. Yeah, I think that would be a great deal for them. And I love the Marlins, what they're doing with their arms. They are like Lance LaRose is saying here. They find those fucking good arms. They find them really well. Kim Nang and all those scouts that they've got going on over there. Shout out to them. They know what they're doing. And the gallon for Jazz Chisholm trade is just chef kiss. Beautiful. I love that shit right there. Let's talk about the Oakland A's game here real quick. This is not a game I honestly want to spend too much time on. There's so many games that are better than this. Brad Hellenkeller, that piece of shit, man. I had his back for a long time, and he has just disappointed me in every step of the way. When I want him to pitch poorly, he pitches great. When I want him to pitch great, he shits down his leg. It's the most annoying thing ever. I want nothing to do with this game. Koenig is not a guy that I just I want to even consider backing it, honestly. The Royals, I'm pretty sure, let's pull the lefties numbers up. They hit lefties well. They're 8th this month, 128 weighted runs created plus. So I guess I don't hate a team total for the Royals, but They're obviously very juiced at -170. The Keller show faced the Oakland A's last time, and he went 7 innings, one hit ball, 6 Ks, 3 walks. I challenge him to do that again. I know the A's are putrid, but I challenge him to do that again. And Conan faced the A's, the Royals last time as well. He went 5 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, no strikeouts as well, 4 walks. I think both these guys can get touched up pretty easily here on their second start against these teams. That's probably why the total is so high at 9.5. Let me double check and see if that's even accurate because that's crazy. You never see a 9.5 with these teams
Yeah, it is.
anymore. Yeah,
It is.
so I guess I'd bet the over, but it's a 9.5 super high and it
No,
sucks. But I'll pass on this game ultimately.
no. No. By the way, who the fuck was betting the over yesterday with those two teams? That total opened 8.5. It went through 8.5. It went up to 9, and it got to 9.5. Now I get it. We had Greinke who had some question marks, and on the Oakland side, we had a shaky starter yesterday as well on the mound for that. I get it. Yesterday was reasons for people liking the over. I get it. You didn't trust those two pitchers, and Irvin it was for Oakland. I get it. But my God, to steal a line for those of you that bet the over in that game yesterday, to steal a line from the great comedian Sebastian Maniscalco, aren't you embarrassed? Like, seriously, aren't you embarrassed that you bet the over in that game? What are you doing betting overs at 9.5 with these two fucking lineups, especially Oakland? I mean, what could you possibly be thinking? That game never even got close last night. So everyone thinking, oh, Irvin, I'm worried about him, his road ERA. We were on Jimmy's show, we're talking about his road ERA, his home road dichotomy, how much worse he is on the road. And definitely, you know, that's true. And yeah, Greinke sucked before going on the IL. And how's he going to fare in the first start in a long, long time? But you can't bet overs at 9.5 with these two teams right now. You can't do it. You just can't. I don't care if it's. I don't care if it's freaking. It's Chichi Gonzalez on the mound for one of these teams. You just cannot bet overs with these two teams right now. These two lineups. I mean, Oakland's been an under machine. They can't hit a lick. They're the worst offense in baseball. It's not even close. Like, they are absolutely the worst lineup in baseball right now. It's just absolutely terrible. They can't even hit bad pitchers. Like, look at this run that they're on. 0-1-2, 0-1-1. You think that's going to cash some overs at 9.5? Good
It
luck.
sounds like you're
Have fun with
coding.
that.
It sounds like you're a robot coding, just 0-1-1-1-0.
Exactly. Binary code. Yeah. 0-1 hexadecimal or yeah, whatever that is. Yeah. That's yeah, binary code. Yeah. But yeah,
Oh
that's what it
man.
sounds like. That's the Oakland Athletics are playing baseball offense in 2022 at binary language. Yeah. Or pretty much right now. So yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love these pitchers either. I'm not going to say I like Brad Keller. Brad Keller had a good start. He's probably going to, you know what he's like. Good start. He probably follows it up with a bad one today. That's been his track record. And Koenig, his numbers are hideous coming into this start. So I understand why the total is where it is. And I understand why, just based on the pitching matchup, I would lean over based on the pitching matchup, but the lineups offset it. And we have seen repeated evidence of these two teams, and especially Oakland, being unable to even hit the worst pitching that they face. So no way I'm betting an over at 9.5. Pass.
Pass for me as well. By the way, I'm surprising people by my knowledge of random things like binary code. I will say this, Ian, I am a beast at bar trivia, a fucking beast. I carry my friends to eighth place in bar trivia once out of 60 teams. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. That's what I'm going to have on my tombstone one day. Next game on our slate here, we've got your Toronto Blue Jays versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Probably the highest price I've seen on the Blue Jays all year, I think. But it kind of makes sense, obviously. Corbin Burns, reigning Cy Young Award winner, dominant in all fashions. But, but he does give up the long ball every so often. Like Cab always says, he'll leave the slider out over the plate every once in a while, and he'll get rocked. He's been pitching really well this last couple of games. St. Louis at home last time, 7 innings, 2 hits, 10 Ks, 2 walks, dominance. At the Mets, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, a home run, 8 Ks, no walks, still pretty good. I'd call that dominance too, honestly. Home road as well. Let's check that real quick. Home, he's got a 3.08 ERA. On the road, he's got a 1.64. So, if you want to take that with whatever you will. But, Kikuchi is just a mystery. He really, really is a mystery. And my question is, if the Milwaukee Brewers, are they bad enough that Kikuchi can, do his thing, cut his fastballs, change speeds, throw 80 poo and get it by these guys? That's the question that will decide this game for me. 21st are the Milwaukee Brewers this month against lefties, 94 weighted runs created plus. His last time out, Kikuchi, he went 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks versus the Yankees. And he went 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs, 4 Ks, 4 walks against against the Baltimore Orioles at home again. So honestly, I would really like to take the Blue Jays here, but I don't think I've got the cojones to do it. I can bet the Pirates no problem every day, but I guess I cannot bet the Blue Jays in this spot.
I'm going to take the over here, even though I know Burns is the best they've got, and Burns is capable of being excellent. But the Jays are an over machine right now, and I've been on a bunch of them, and I'm taking it again. Corbin Burns be damned, I'm taking the over again. Now, I know he's good, but guess what? He's going up against a lineup equally as good right now in the Blue Jays. And look, his home ERA is actually higher than his overall ERA. He's actually been a little bit better on the road, Corbin Burns. 3.02 home ERA for him going into this start. Now he's off an absolute gem against St. Louis. 7 innings, 2 hits, shutout ball, 10 strikeouts. But 108 pitches, threw a lot, more than his average. Usually he's a guy that doesn't hit 100 pitches, but 108, it's second most pitches he's thrown in a start this year. Now you got to face this just red hot, surging Blue Jays lineup. I think the Jays are good enough right now offensively with what they're doing, 1 through 9, to scratch out, 3 runs against this guy, maybe 4. And then the Brewers bullpen is, hit or miss lately. And on the flip side, I think the Brewers are going to hit Kikuchi. I don't like the lefty numbers for Kikuchi right now, or for the Brewers right now. You're right. They haven't been great against lefties as of late. That's concerning, but it's kind of like what's going to give here. The Brewers kind of weaker against lefties, or a very weak arm in Kikuchi, who's not been good, who's been, basically a bet against pitcher much of the season for me. He continues to have trouble with his command and his control. Walk issues are an issue. Kikuchi's last, I believe, 5 or 6 starts in a row have all gone over the total. 6-5, 9-3, 8-4, 6-5, 10-9 final scores in those starts. Total's just low enough that even with Burns on the mound, a capable pitcher, and I'm seeing 7.5 now at DraftKings. I understand why people are taking under. It's Burns, but can't bet the Blue Jays under. At least I can't. I'm on the over. I'm going against that move.
And by the way, Chad's saying that Alejandro Kirk got hurt last night. Do you have any Kirk news? Because I looked on RotoWire. Obviously, they've got no confirmed lineups yet. It's still early. I can do a little Twitter search real fast about Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah, still early. It is still early, but Alejandro Kirk right now is questionable. Springer, by the way, has missed the last 2 games, but he might be back today for the Blue Jays. So we'll wait and see on that. But those are the 2 big question marks in terms of the starting pitching, or starting the lineup. I mean, with Springer and with Alejandro Kirk, who, by the way, has just been amazing this year. No question about that. Blue Jays do have some injuries in the bullpen too, including Jimmy Garcia just went on the IL for a bullpen that's had a brutal month. That's the last thing they want, is one of their key relievers going on the IL. So that's another thing too. Brewers very capable of tacking on runs late in this game against this Blue Jays bullpen, which has not been good for the last 2 weeks. It's basically been a combination of ineffectiveness, struggles, and being overworked because their starters just aren't giving them any length, any innings.
How's my baby boy Gabriel Moreno doing, the Venezuelan catcher?
Excellent. He looks like this doesn't look like there's a flaw in his game. He's hitting well, but more importantly, he's a great defensive catcher. He calls a good game for the starting pitcher. He is terrific throwing out base runners. He's got one of the more accurate throws to second base to try to throw at a potential base stealer that I've seen in a long time. Like, dead on the money. Like, the second baseman's just got to put the glove out there, and the ball's right there, right where and able to apply the tag so easily. Like, this guy he looks like he's got the skills. He looks like he checks all the boxes, can hit, can call a good game for the starting pitcher. great defensive catcher, can block wild pitches in the plate. It won't allow many pass balls. All of it, all the things you need to be as a catcher. He looks like he's it for the Blue Jays. So the people, I think he's people were talking about how he's one of the best prospects and maybe arguably the best catching prospect with currently in the game. With all due respect to Adley Rutschman over there in Baltimore, but definitely Moreno's been just terrific so far, and he's just scratching the surface and just getting started.
Well, you guys know me. I always have my eyes on the trade deadline and such. You guys are mentioning it. A Real Deal mentioned it here. Need to trade a catcher for an arm. Sorry, Danny Jansen. Looks like your time might be up.
Yeah, unfortunately, but hey.
That's what happens. My Venezuelan king doing his thing over there. So good for him. I'm glad that he's doing well. Let's move on to this next game, Ian. Obviously, the Red Sox versus the Guardians here. I had a read on Cutter Crawford last time out, young pitcher. He came up and got a spot start in a spot where he wasn't really going to pitch well, and he did well. His second start, he came out and pitched terribly, and I was on the Cardinals that day. But Winkowski, I don't think I can handle the same way, honestly. He's a better pitching prospect to begin with, and I think he's just overall a better pitcher. He's been pitching well in the minors. Excuse me. And he pitched well against Detroit. He's had 3 starts so far in the majors. This will be his 4th. His first one, everyone that watched it could kind of tell he was nervous. Didn't pitch well. 3 walks in it. 2 starts ago, I should say, Oakland, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks, 1 walk. Impressive. And last start, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 1 walk, but that was against the Tigers. So I don't really know what to expect here, honestly. Shane Bieber obviously is a beast. He just spat in the face of all the negative numbers that were plaguing him in the early part of the season. Spin rate, velocity, who cares? He's pitched, not the same as Cy Young Bieber back in the day, but he's still good. I think he's still the best pitcher on the staff. He's still going to go out there and give you a good performance. 3 earned runs, 6 2/3 at Colorado on the 14th, and then his last start was 6 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned a home run, 9 Ks, 1 walk at the Dodgers. Another impressive start there. I kind of looking towards an over here, Ian. I'll be honest. I think the Red Sox offense can get some on Bieber. Bear Bogarts will most likely be in the lineup today because yesterday was just a scheduled day off. So I kind of do like the over here, Ian. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not going against Bieber here because he's on a nice run. Cleveland's been winning with him consistently, but I'm also not laying the price. I mean, it's minus 155. I like the way Boston's playing. They're obviously right now playing very good baseball. They've won 5 in a row. They've scored at least 5 runs in all 5 of those victories. And to be quite honest, Winkowski here for Boston hasn't been terrible here through his first few starts. 2 runs in 11.2 big league innings. Now, Oakland and Detroit are pathetic. So that's the one hesitation I have, about endorsing Winkowski here is, look, Cleveland is a better lineup than those 2. I don't think that's stretching the truth very much, but we'll see how he fares here in this one. It's funny that Bieber actually, believe it or not, only has a 4.35 ERA at home, which is actually, he struggled more at home than he has on the road, which is very, very odd to see. But he is pitching pretty well, I would say, overall for the last, I would say 7 starts. He's given up 3 runs or less. He's been just consistent. He's given Cleveland a chance to win. Like I said, they've won 5 in a row that he has started. So this is a pass for me, side and total.
The real question is, Ian, do I want to move on the over? I think, shockingly enough, I am. I think I'm going to move on the full game over 8.5. I got it at minus 105, so it is a little cheap. Almost even money. So I don't, obviously it's not like I'm losing a minus 120 over, which, as you guys know, are probably the most annoying plays for me to lose. Those are
Bieber's totals have been 7.5 most of his recent starts. So that's the thing with me is this feels a little bit high for Bieber being on the mound, 8.5. But you're right, Boston's hitting. So
Yeah,
Good luck
and
if you
and
like the over,
when
but I see why you like it because of Boston, what they're doing right now.
yeah, and Winkowski really is the question mark for
Yeah,
me. I mean, obviously, Winkowski could really ruin this bet if he pitches well.
yeah.
If he pitches well, then I'll be fucked in this bet, no matter how poorly or well Bieber pitches. So it'll be fun to watch this game for sure. I'll have my eyes on it. Next game on our slate here, it's going to be an interesting one. A bum fight, to say the least, is Giants Reds here. I've got nothing on this game. Logan Webb minus 240. A little ridiculous, or now it's minus 250.
Yeah.
Wow, it just keeps going up and up and up, huh? Plus 205 for the Reds. Yeah, just nothing here, honestly, Boban. Maybe you could get there with the Reds in a like a team total sort of fashion. I don't know, but I should say you should get to the Reds first five, first three, maybe because the Giants are not the best against lefties. But Mike Minor is so washed up. I've got nothing. Don't want to talk about this game for very long. So Ian, I'll pass the mic to you.
Yeah, this Giants are past, but they're not playing well. And I'm not laying minus 240. Hell, I'm not even getting involved at minus a half with the Giants here. And I sure as hell don't want Mike Minor. There's no Cincinnati interest for me, none, zero, in this game with Cincinnati. So it's Giants or pass. And Logan Webb though does have still pretty good home numbers, 2.74 ERA. He's been much better actually his last three starts, and we know his win-loss record overall as a San Francisco Giants as a San Francisco Giant in this ballpark's been terrific, and it's 6-1
Yeah,
for the Giants in his 7 home starts this year. But again, where's the value? And that's the problem. There isn't any on San Francisco. I do think they win this game. I do like Webb over Minor in this matchup, but talk about a San Francisco team that's 1-5 in their last 6 games. They've not been playing well. Cincinnati not much better, but they snapped their long losing streak with the win 4-2 yesterday. But San Francisco struggling every bit as much right now. So yeah, I'd like to take Webb and the Giants here, but they're not in good form. 5 of the last 6 they've lost, and you're paying way too much of a premium. So we're not involved.
yeah, pass. Let's move on. Colorado, Minnesota. Another pass game for me. I feel like we can move on this game just as quickly. Chris Archer at minus 185 in the year of our Lord 2022 is insanity to me personally. But it sends Senzatella on the other side. Senzatella and Marquez have just been like automatic like fades for me, honestly. They just have not been, or I shouldn't say they've been automatic fades. It's just been automatically like I'm not betting on you, obviously. And though Senzatella has pitched well in spots, last time out against the Padres, went 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 2 Ks, 2 walks, 3 Ks. I still don't want to back him. I still don't want to even consider putting my money on him. I mean, that's just no thank you. And Archer, if you watch this program often, you guys know I do not like Chris Archer. And maybe it's just resentment for his Rays days. I'm not sure, but he has pitched well essentially all year, and in no point of the year have I felt compelled or comfortable enough to bet him. At Arizona last time out, 4 innings, two earned runs, 3 hits, two home runs, 3 Ks. At Seattle, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, none of them earned, 3 Ks, 2 walks. He goes 5 innings at the max, most likely 4. He does a good job, but I don't want to back it. No chance, no way, no Jose. What do you have on this one, Ian?
Well, I don't know what the fuck that was last night with the Rockies and the Twins. That was Marquez and fucking Al Bundy, and final score 1-0. Like, what on earth happened last night in that game with the Rockies and the Twins? And now we got to start to wonder if these two teams are capable of hitting anybody bad, because now that's 2 games in a row. The Twins have been totally asleep offensively 2 games in a row. 1-0 win, 1-0 loss. Colorado, I mean, you look at they've trended under. They've had their tough times, especially the last couple games. They've been held to 3 runs in their last 2 games combined. Do I like either of these pitchers? Senzatella on the road, I don't. He's 6.75 ERA. He struggled on the road. I'm not a big Archer fan, but I kind of feel like, man, I like the over yesterday with 2 much more untrustworthy starters than these 2. And now I'm even looking at a total of half a run higher at 9.5, and they couldn't hit those 2 stiffs last night, Marquez and fucking Al Bundy. I mean, my goodness, pass.
Yeah, pass
Nothing you can
all
do.
the way. No, I mean, hey, like I said, this week. There's like 6 matchups were just putrid, just dog shit matchups, and I don't want to watch them at all. And guess what, guys? We're not done with the dog shit matchups. We'll talk about another one here in a bit. But let's move on to this game: Dodgers Braves. The I think probably the second headlining game. It's Astros Yankees and then Dodgers Braves. Easily, those could be the NL and ALCSs this year again. And if you watched the Freddie Freeman shit yesterday, I'm not a Braves fan. I had tears in my eyes. That shit fucked me up so much. It was so brutal. And I said it on the show. I didn't really know how it would affect both teams. I didn't know if it was going to, just ruin Freddie for the day and he would stink. I didn't know if it would ruin the Braves. And it kind of seems like it sapped the Braves. Like I don't know about you, Ian, but maybe it was just like all like realizing like how important it was to Freddie, but the Braves just weren't in it, I think, just from the start. And the Dodgers obviously jumped on them kind of early. And from then it was just, kind of cruising for Julio Urias. I think this game, I'll be honest, I'm expecting a Braves response. I think the Braves will come out pretty good here. Maybe it's just Max Fried on the bump against Mitch White. Obvious pitching matchup advantage there. Though, again, Mitch White has been okay in starts and portions of the season. His last start was on the 7th this month against the White Sox. 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks. So sure, why not? But his last 2 starts were in the minor leagues in AAA. 6 innings, 3 hits, 4 Ks, no earned runs there, and 5 and 2/3 innings, no hits, 6 Ks, 2 walks. So obviously he is a MLB pitcher. He's dominating AAA too much, but I do think that there's going to be a Braves response after yesterday's emotions. So I would rather have the Braves than the Dodgers here, but I do not think I can make a play on it, unfortunately. What about you, Bobano?
Yeah, I like Max Fried. I don't really love going against him. And you do have the Dodgers against their weaker split, which is lefties. Obviously, we know they crush right-handed pitching, tops in baseball, one of the best right there with Yankees and some other teams. But uh, they drop a little bit. They're still respectable. Like I think they're 11th OPS against lefties, Dodgers, but not as good as against righties. So you at least still get them in their weaker split. Max Fried's been very good lately. 2.95 ERA at home, 2.89 his last 3 starts. They're 3-0 in his last 3 starts. They're 6-3 in his 9 home starts. Atlanta's 10-4 in his 14 starts overall this year. So they've been winning with him. But now it's time to start asking ourselves after, maybe a couple of struggles early on, this season in his first couple starts, is Mitch White good? Because he's pitched a lot better for the Dodgers lately. A 1.93 ERA. He's given them a chance. He's got good road numbers. And at the end of the day, you're not getting a bargain here with Atlanta. You're getting minus 150 now with the Atlanta Braves against a surging Dodgers team. And with the Dodgers are a very easy team to bet for me. When they're struggling and they're reeling, I'm fading them because they can have these little runs where they're just the malaise is there. They're a little disinterested. They know they're a great team and they're going to have those little funks, and cold funks and, downward spirals. But when they're hot and they're feeling it like they are right now, they've been hit. Their offense is back to life again. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. Again, they're back to hitting the baseball. White's been more than serviceable the last few starts, and you're getting the nice number with them. So, yeah, I do want to back Atlanta. I do lean Atlanta, but I don't feel betting minus 150 against this Dodgers team that's in their groove right now is what I want to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you're 100% right there about the value and the price. It's not truly that often we see the Dodgers at almost a plus 130. And I will say this line has moved slightly towards the Dodgers as well. It's only a minus 148 now for the Braves. For me, plus 124 for the Dodgers. So I really don't hate that look. I looked at a
It
team
could be an under because look, the thing is with the Dodgers
not bad
and
either.
their bats, they are going again. But how much of that was the heat of Cincinnati earlier this week, the bad Reds bullpen, the bandbox ballpark there, Great American, where when it's very hot, the ball flies even further. How much of that was bolstered by the conditions in that ballpark? Heat, humidity, home run park, uh, perfect elements, combustible elements for a lot of runs. And I thought, hey, maybe their offense is back. It would continue last night. Well, they scored early, and then they didn't do much after. So might have been more ballpark related, opponent related, weather condition related. That Dodgers offensive explosion earlier this week in Cincinnati, because they went back to Atlanta last night, and it was average offensive showing, I guess, for the Dodgers. So what I'm getting at is I'd lean under in this game.
I like the first 500 too. No, I agree with you, especially because Mitch White's pitching well. But I do think the Braves win tonight, and I probably agree that minus 150 is a little steep. A little steep for a team that's playing the Dodgers. Let's move on to this next game here. We've got the the Mariners, excuse me, against the Angels. This is the most surprising line of the day. I don't know why Logan Gilbert's plus 110 here. I think Patrick Sandoval is not better than him. I'm maybe it's a trap. Maybe I am just betting on my guy Logan Gilbert blindly here, but I'm taking the Seattle Mariners first 5 money line. Let me double check what price I got it at. I think I got plus 105. Hold on, yeah, plus 105 for me. I'm just kind of shocked to see this. I feel like Logan Gilbert is probably the most disrespected pitcher by the markets every week he comes. I don't know why. I understand that Seattle against lefties 28th. That's 80 weighted runs created plus. And LA against the righties are 82. That's 24th. So it is kind of basically first team to score a run in the first 5 wins, I would assume. You can get a first 5 under 4 at minus 105. Juice towards the over. So I kind of feel like there is going to be some offense in that. But I'm going to take Logan Gilbert. I've rode him all year. He's my guy. One of my favorite pitchers to watch. First 5 money line for me.
I wouldn't argue with that. The one concern is I like Sandoval a lot too. And you mentioned it. Seattle is not hitting lefties very well this season, and especially of late. So, but I agree. I mean, I would be Mariners or nothing. I'd probably look at a first 5 under as well, maybe a full game under if you can trust the bullpens, but certainly a first 5 under. I like Sandoval. I think he's had a nice season overall. I think there's potential for him to be a good starter. We certainly like Gilbert. I've mentioned Gilbert a bunch on this show, on Jimmy's show. Definitely, I think he's a bet on pitcher. So it's kind of 2 bet on pitchers for me. That's why I'm lukewarm. But obviously, flip a coin. I like both pitchers. Take the dog, and that's Seattle. That's Gilbert. So I'd lean Seattle for sure. Lean first 5 under. And it bothers me too in terms of taking Seattle. Ty France. Ty France has been one of their best bats this year. He's had a terrific season, and he's questionable for this game. He missed the last game last night, and that offense really, really, really suffers without him because he's been a huge catalyst for that offense all year. So we'll lean under. We'll lean Seattle. Don't know if I'll bet either.
I like the under there. I like the under look as well. I will say this: Ty France, one of the guys that I was a bat boy for. Technically, I was always the road bat boy when I was the bat boy, so they were the home team. And I was always just shocked. He's not. Like I don't know. He's not that guy you would look at and think that guy hits 340 in the minor leagues, just rakes, has the most home runs on the team, but like he just kept doing it. And I don't know, he's just so unpredictable, unassuming. So I think it'll be interesting for sure. I'm gonna move on the let's see, what was I gonna move on the Mariners, excuse me, first 5. Porter, by the way, in here adamantly saying these teams just saw each other and the pitchers last week over. Likes the over here, over 8. Interesting. So I don't hate an overlooked full game necessarily. I don't like it first 5 because I do believe both of these pitchers. Full game, you could kind of talk me in on because the Seattle Mariners bullpen, it seems like it's clockwork. Every time I watch their Seattle games, their starting pitchers go like 5-6 innings. They pitch really well, and then Paul Sewald or some Mariners reliever comes in, gives up jacks immediately.
I love how you threw out Paul Sewald's name. Yeah, that guy is a gas can and bad shit waiting to happen if you're a Mariner fan. Yeah.
Every time I see Paul Sewald come on in the game, I know the Mariners are going to give up a home run. I know it. It's hilarious.
Just like Mike Mayer all those years with the Angels before they finally said, hey, after 3 years of bullshit relieving, maybe we should cut this guy. Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because if you look at, I have not looked at Paul Sewald's stats in a while, but when I see him brought in the game, his stats when he's on the screen, like, okay, this guy looks pretty good, all right, and then just immediately fucking gets crushed. And by the way, Trout. We'll mention this. Obviously, it's in Seattle that he dominates in really like a lot in. But against the Mariners, I'll just say this: I'd still be taking Trout props. It's crazy. It's crazy because I was on the Mariners in that series with Trout doing his thing, and I think I bet them again like twice or something like that. And it was just so funny to me that it's just every time it's just Mike Trout's there to just crush your soul. 4 go-ahead home runs in that series, or I should say go-ahead game-winning home runs for Trout in that series. Just insanity, and that's why he is who he is. All right, so let's move on to this last game, or sorry, the second to last game.
2 left, yeah.
Yeah, this game's a fucking bum fight. I don't want to talk about it at all, but it's shocking to see. I think this is probably the second most surprising line of the day. Shocking to see that Arizona and Zach Davies were minus 150. I don't understand why that could be. I would look towards the Tigers here. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, truthfully. It's one of those things where you have to kind of get over betting the Tigers. If you look at the Tigers' stats against righties this month, they're 28th, 61 weighted runs created plus. Again, 100 is average, so 61 is putrid. So I that's the main thing. Maybe you can talk me into a first 5 under minus 105. I like Faedo. I think he's a pretty good pitcher. Maybe could turn into something. But Zach Davies, I don't enjoy watching, backing, doing anything of the sort with Davies. So I'll quickly mention his numbers. I won't take too much time. Like I said, I don't want to talk about this game much. At the Padres, 6 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs there, 3 Ks, 3 walks. And then versus Cincinnati at home, 7 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks. So it's really, really interesting thing you get with Zach Davies. But pass for me ultimately. Bum fight. No thanks.
Yeah, D. Jenkins is right. That's horrible if you had first 5 under on that yesterday with Detroit and Arizona, where they get the 5 spot early in that game, and then it still stayed under for the full game. That is frustrating. There's no doubt about that. You deserve better fate than that. I wouldn't shy away from going back to the under here, first 5 in a full game. I would be cautious about reading too much into the last 2 starts for Faedo. Faced the White Sox, just had a bad day, and when he faced the Red Sox in his last game, we know Boston's starting to mash again, and the offense is coming to life. That ain't Arizona, all right? That is not Arizona at the moment, and that is an offensive machine. Arizona is not that. 4 straight losses, and actually 5 of their last 6 losses, 5 of their last 6 games they've lost, and they've scored 2 runs or less in 4 of those games. So this is an offense that's kind of lifeless right now, Arizona. We certainly don't trust Detroit's lineup. They did score 5 yesterday. It was all in that 1 inning. Pretty much they did nothing other than that. And before that, they scored 2, 4, 2. They had a couple of big games against some mediocre Texas pitchers. And then before that, 0-1, 0-1, back to the binary code like Oakland we talked about earlier in the show. So Detroit's lineup we don't trust much. And look, I'm not a big Davies fan, but Davies has been serviceable, and it's not like he's facing a lineup that's any good here in Detroit. Detroit, what are they? Still 30th in Major League Baseball against righties, OPS. 29th, only the pathetic, of course, Oakland's dead last. I should have known that. But Detroit 29th, not much better. So I don't know. This to me looks like an under to me. First 5 full game split.
Yeah, Noli's saying most profitable under team at home. Full game under. I'll move on it. I'll gladly move on. I don't even need Noli to even say explicitly that he's on it. He puts full game. He says that they're the best under team in the fucking league. Detroit. Arizona full game under 8.5 for me on Bovada. That is, let's find out here at even money. Wow, even money under here for Noli Knows and myself here. I'm moving on that on under. I like it. I like it. I think, like you guys said, I think Vieto is a good pitcher. I think that Davies can be obviously hit or miss, but I think he can dominate a Tigers offense that just sucks. All right. By the way, Daryl Turner asking about the MLB capper known as monkeypox. I don't know when he's going to join. Daryl Turner, give me his contact information. Maybe I'll invite him on. Maybe I'll invite him on. All right, so let's talk about the last game on the slate here, and thank God it's actually a game worth talking about. Padres Phillies here. We've got Zach Eflin versus Blake Snell. And I could be talked into backing Blake Snell. I could be talked into it at home. Obviously, I think I would obviously rather back him at home, I should say. Let's bring up Blake Snell's numbers here. His last 2 starts at Colorado, he went back to back against Colorado, actually. At Colorado, predictably, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 5 Ks, 4 walks there. Versus Colorado at home, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks, 2 walks there. Very interesting. I don't like his numbers this year have just been trash. 4 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 3 earned runs. Just not something I would want to back, honestly. Pass on backing him. The home road splits are eerily the same. And Zach Eflin is, whenever he's on the bump, it does not inspire enough confidence for me to back the Phillies. His last appearances, 2 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, a home run against the Nationals at the Nationals, so no thanks. And versus the Marlins, he goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs at home. So ultimately, maybe I could even consider leaning towards an over. An overplay probably seems like the look here. But I think it'll be interesting. And Noli, we talked about the NL Championship matchup. We talked about it as Molly the dog is having some dreams over here. But we talked about it. I cried. I almost cried during the Braves thing. This is just an over game, but the ballpark seems like it'll be interesting. But pass for me. Ian, what about you?
Yeah, I do like the over here. That's going to be my last play on this card for this final game of the night. I think it gets over the total. Eflin obviously didn't pitch well in his last start, and that's putting it mildly for the Philadelphia Phillies. And you look at his numbers, the road has been dreadful for him. Terrible. Absolutely awful. And all 6 road starts for Eflin have gone over the total. 6-0 to the over for Eflin in his road starts. 7.96 ERA. Last 2 starts, 4 runs, 5 hits, 6 innings against Miami. 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 innings against Washington. He was just hit hard by Washington, who's not exactly a light you up type of lineup. They did that, though, against Eflin. And actually, Eflin, 5 straight starts for him have gone over as well to go with the 6-0 on the road to the over in his starts. I don't trust Snell. We know Phillies hit lefties. Now, last night, against Mackenzie Gore, they didn't do quite as well as I thought. Obviously not. They struggled in that game. They got shut out 1-0. But I think tonight they bounce back. I think Mackenzie Gore, certainly from an upside standpoint, more than beaten around and beaten down and, injury issues and declining Blake Snell. That's essentially what he is at this point. At his ERA this year, 5.46 overall, 5.28 ERA at home. Petco Park, I know for a fact you should have a better ERA than 5.28. So when you've got that kind of ERA in your home ballpark, that's not very good. They're 0-6, by the way, in Snell's 6 starts this year. The San Diego Padres, they have not won yet for him. And actually, if you go back to last year, 2021, the Padres are on a 0-8 losing streak with Blake Snell starting for them. 0-8 going into this. So I could only back Philadelphia. I might actually have a smaller bet on Philly here, believe it or not. But I think the over is the much better play. No question about that. 7.5, low enough. I think we see runs. I think we see a fun capper to the Saturday card with this one. This is the latest game of the board on the board, latest start time, and I think we'll see some runs. We'll see some fireworks in Slam Diego.
No, I agree with you. Even I'm moving on that over 7.5. as well. And I will say this: shout out to Ish Wiz.
Is it true Doug Eddings? Oh, fuck shit, man. Is he really the umpire in this game?
I don't know. That's a good question. Porter say right
Porter's
here.
saying, yeah, I think so. God damn it, man. If his strike zone's like it was for the Blue Jays White Sox, this will be like that game, 1-0 or something. He's a
Oh,
horrible umpire if you have the over. Horrible. His
yeah.
strike zone is as wide as the Atlantic Ocean. It was an absolute disgrace the other night, the Jays White Sox game. It's about as bad. Maybe that makes him change and rethink his ways finally after all these years. Like, I was called out publicly by everyone who saw me just embarrass myself with that embarrassing strike zone with the Jays White Sox earlier this week, that, hey, maybe I got to shrink the strike zone, to what it normally is. So we'll see.
What it's supposed to be.
Yeah, what it's supposed to be. Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that I could pull this up really quickly. I'm glad that I had this in the back of my head. Shout out to the umpire scorecard, great Twitter account. Let's just pull up and let's remember Doug Eddings' last performance here. Let's remember what he did right here.
Oh, yeah. Hall of Fame performance right there.
Oh, my
Put him
God.
in the Umpires Hall of Fame. Look at that.
I remember watching the start and just looking at all the outside strikes, and then they're going right back inside, just bam. And then Dylan Cease was abusing the outside, just throwing curveballs outside, just sticking them. And then it's so funny. The funniest part, by the way, is overall favor in there, plus 2 runs to the White Sox. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. That is so funny. I hope that does not happen today. That will be very interesting, to say the least.
It was
Bobano,
as bad as you'll ever see. Yeah.
my card is fucking loaded, Bobano. Loaded. And I'm excited for it here. Let's talk about our sponsors first, real fast. Shout out to our guys at Dr. Squatch. Go grab their soaps today. Their link is in the description. Go to their website, and they have a promo code as well that should be in the description. I can double check here soon, but they've got lovely soaps, natural soaps. They've got a subscription packages so you can keep up to date with your soaps. The Galaxy pack is what I rock. You guys know me. I'm a Mars Bar and Area 51 brick guy. They look cool. They smell great. Like I said, they very much look cool, and they're soap that is a talking piece, and I think that's very interesting to have in your bathroom all the time. So check out our guys at Dr. Squatch today. They help out the show. They're a good supporter of the show, so support them. And the more you support them, the more stuff we can do for you guys. All right. A very interesting card, to say the least. Ian, I'll let you go first. Obviously, I know you've got pages and pages and pages of notes. So I'm excited to see what you have on what are your card today is. Let's see.
Well, I'm going to add the St. Louis team total over 4.5 minus 130 in that Cubs Cardinals game. Houston Yankees over 8 minus 110. I'm on the fence with Baltimore White Sox over. I want to see what this rain situation's like closer to first pitch, but lean that way. Pittsburgh Tampa Bay officially over 7 minus 120. And then the game, those are all about to start for the most part, by the way. And then later on, we've got Mets Marlins over 7.5 minus 110. We've got Washington first 5 full game money line split. We have Toronto Milwaukee over 7.5 minus 120. We've got after that we have got a few games where we pass right now, and more than a few games. I'm going to go with a rare under. I really like that with Detroit, Arizona. First 5 full game under, Tigers and Diamondbacks. I'm going to rock with that, and we'll wrap it up with. I think this is probably, if I had to, I don't do best bets on this show or Jimmy's show. And honestly, all the bets are equal amount for me. But if I had to make a best bet, it's Philadelphia, San Diego over 7.5.
Wow, that's lovely, because I've got that on my card as well. Yes, these games are about to go, so let's go through these plays quickly and get these plays in. Shout out to Nutflush Allen, who's at the South Point watching right now. Appreciate you as well. And Lucius Fox and the guys who are talking about robo umpires. I'm a big robo umpire guy. I would love to see it. I think it would be hilarious. But let's talk about the plays. I'm on Astros Yankees over 8 minus 110. My Pittsburgh Pirates team total over 3 minus 105. I'm moving on Washington Nationals first 5 money line at minus 110. Mets Marlins over 7.5 minus 115 for me. Detroit, Arizona under 8.5 plus 100, and the Philadelphia Padres game over 7.5 runs at minus 110. The one play that I am not going to eventually, I guess, not going to move on a lean, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to go on the Cardinals first 5 minus 1 at plus 100. Just going to leave that out. Got enough plays on the card, have enough plays without it. So I think it's going to be fun. Shout out to Dom Ricci joining us as well. I appreciate you, Dom. I love your insights. And by the way,
Sprinkle one more time, even though it obviously was a low-scoring game last night, and Yordan Alvarez, Astros, it's just about to start total bases and home run prop.
Yes. 2 home runs off of Garrett.
We know Cole is susceptible to the home run ball. We know he's a good pitcher, but a lot of the runs he gives up are home run balls. So very possible.
I like that look. I like it a lot there, Ian. If I was a prop guy, I would also be riding the Yordan train throughout this whole year. So it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. I cannot wait for this card. It's going to be a big card. I have to run, Ian. I have a 12:30 reservation for a restaurant that is 35 minutes away. So it's going to be a fun time. Going to make this reservation. I cannot wait. I'm going to watch a lot of baseball today. Ian, quickly before you go, people were asking about your CFL action. Do you have any CFL action today?
Yeah, I like the overs in both games. Calgary, Edmonton, as well as BC and Toronto. I think there'll be points in those 2 games. And as far as the sides, I did like BC when it opened. It's moved up to like 5. Actually, I just see now it's actually come back down. So there's been buyback on Toronto. I understand why. I thought 5.5 was a little bit high. I think BC wins that game. I think they will cover as well, but it just seemed like it was getting a little out of control with the movement toward BC. But I like the Lions there, and I like Edmonton. So Lions and Edmonton from BC Lions minus the points, Edmonton Elks plus the points. And I don't like Edmonton at all this season as a team, but they were better last week, even though they lost again. And Calgary came off a big comeback win against Hamilton. I expect them to be maybe a little bit, not flat, but just a little bit hungover from that big comeback. And, I think Nick Arbuckle, their quarterback, is very, very, very motivated to play well today against a team that he was the backup to Bo Mitchell in Calgary for a few years. So Edmonton plus the points in the over in that game, which is at 48.5, and BC in the over in the second game.
Interesting. And quickly, and sorry, one more thing. Avalanche thoughts, because obviously we had a great Stanley Cup final game yesterday. So any Avalanche thoughts before we go as well?
Look, I'm not betting Colorado again the rest of this series. That's now 4-0 in playoff. That's 4-0 in games when facing elimination. Tampa Bay's been in elimination games before, but they've been doing the eliminating. When they have faced elimination in the last 3 years during this run, they're now 4-0. And they added to it, made it 4-0 last night with that win. And Vasilevsky's numbers are just insane during that run. So that I lost for the last time with Colorado last night. I'm probably done with this series from a side and a total perspective. I don't know if I'll honestly be betting game 6 or game 7, side or total, because I think the longer this series goes, the more it's going to be like we've seen the last 2 games where they stayed under. And I'm not willing to bet against Tampa Bay again in the heart and the guts of this team. I mean, it's just incredible to see it. There's no doubt they are banged up. They are beleaguered. They are ravaged with key injuries, and multiple players are definitely playing through serious injuries right now. But they've got the best goalie, and Kemper now all of a sudden we got worries about him. 2 of those goals he should have stopped, in that game last night. So, like I say, my betting for the game 6, and if there's a game 7, it's going to be mostly props. Player props have been very good to me. That's where the focus is going to be. I'm not going to be looking at sides and totals probably.
All right, beautiful. Ian, thank you as always for your insight and expertise across the sports atmosphere, whether that be hockey, CFL, or baseball. We appreciate it as always. A loaded card today. Games are kicking off, tipping off. First pitches are happening everywhere. So we're going to go out here. I'll tweet my plays here. Follow me on Twitter at Jose Bouquett. Follow Bobano on Twitter at Bobano on Twitter. Just remember, guys, his name is Ian. He does have a real name.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice for people to remember that from time to time. Yeah,
he does have a real name. Ian, I appreciate you for joining me as always on a Saturday. I hope this happens more often throughout the year, of course, and it is.
Yep.
Thankfully that the NHL has ended and it's going to be a good time. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to have a new guest on tomorrow. I've got to coordinate everything and make sure. I'm going to be half a man tomorrow as well, so that's going to be interesting. You guys know what that means. I'm going out with my my little brother, who is not my little brother, for the first time in like 10 years. We've never drank together before, so it'll be interesting to see what happens to me tonight. Hopefully some responsible drinking and hopefully some responsible capping tonight and tomorrow, guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, not 5:30, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, right here on Pub.
Thanks everybody in the chat. Hit the like button. Dom Ricci, we love you. Great to see you in the chat. And everyone, Cheshire Cat, everybody in the chat. We Christopher Comentini, everybody in the chat. We appreciate it very much. And I'll be back Tuesday. Not Flush Allen. Hope you're having fun in Las Vegas.
Yes,
Rip it up down there. Yeah.
Let us know. Send those pictures, Not Flush. We love to see it. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, say hey.